This is not about bad breath. Not the kind you fix with toothpaste. Not the kind that disappears after brushing. This is different. This is the kind that makes people step back without realizing why. The kind that creates distance in the smallest, quietest moments. 7 a.m. The light comes in softly. Everything looks normal, but your mouth doesn't feel right. Dry, heavy. Your tongue barely moves, like it's coated in something thick. You swallow. It doesn't help. You try to ignore it. You turn your head, ready to say something simple. Good morning? But your body stops you. You pause, just for a second. Then your hand rises and covers your mouth. That moment, that hesitation, that is where it begins. Most people never question it. They assume it's normal. They blame age, food, or hygiene. But what if that assumption is exactly what keeps the problem alive? Because what you are experiencing may not be about how well you clean your mouth. It may be about what happens when your body stops protecting it. And once that protection fades, something else quietly takes over. When you were younger, your body worked in the background, silently, effortlessly. You didn't think about saliva. You didn't need to. It was always there, flowing, protecting, balancing. But over time, that system begins to slow down, not suddenly, not dramatically, but enough to matter. Saliva production may decrease with age, and at night, it drops even further. Your body enters a low-activity state. Everything slows, including the natural cleaning system in your mouth. For many people, this leads to what is often called dry mouth during sleep. And this is where the environment changes. Your mouth is no longer a flowing system. It becomes still, dry, less protected. And when that happens, balance becomes fragile. Inside your mouth, there is an entire ecosystem. Millions of microorganisms, living, competing, balancing each other. Under normal conditions, this system stays stable, but when saliva decreases, oxygen levels can drop in certain areas, especially in places like the back of your tongue and deep along the gum line. These areas become ideal for certain types of bacteria that thrive in low oxygen environments. They don't need air. They prefer the dark. And once they begin to dominate, something changes. They start breaking down proteins from leftover food, from dead cells, from natural buildup in your mouth. And this process creates byproducts. Some of them contain sulfur. These compounds can produce strong odors, sharp, unpleasant, persistent. This is not just something on the surface. It is a process, happening slowly over hours while you sleep. Which is why, when you wake up, it feels deeper than just unclean teeth. The hardest part is not the smell itself. It's what it does to your behavior, to your confidence, to your relationships. There was a man named Mr. Vin, a retired teacher, disciplined, well-respected, always careful with his appearance. But in his mid-60s, something changed. Not suddenly, just small signs. His grandson began turning his face away. His wife started sleeping facing the other direction. No arguments, no complaints, just quiet distance. Mr. Vin noticed. Of course he did. But no one talked about it. So he tried to fix it himself. He brushed more, longer, harder. He bought stronger mouthwash, the kind that burns, the kind that feels powerful. He believed the stronger it felt, the better it worked. But over time, his mouth felt even drier, more sensitive, more uncomfortable. And the problem didn't go away. What he didn't realize was that for some people, frequent use of strong alcohol-based products may increase dryness, and dryness was already feeding the problem. He was trying harder, but moving further in the wrong direction. The solution is not about attacking everything. It's about restoring balance. Step 1. Mechanical cleaning. Not just teeth, but the tongue, especially the back portion. This is where a large amount of buildup can collect. A gentle tongue scraper, used daily, may help reduce that layer. Think of it as removing a film that brushing alone may miss. Step 2. Be selective with what you use after brushing. Not all mouthwashes are the same. Some are very strong. Some are designed to support balance. Ingredients like zinc may help neutralize certain odor compounds. Other formulations focus on maintaining a more neutral environment. Step 3. Support beneficial bacteria. This is a newer area of research, often referred to as oral probiotics. Some strains, such as Streptococcus salivarius K12, have been studied for their potential role in oral balance. Research is still evolving, but early findings suggest they may help support a healthier microbial environment. The goal is not elimination, it is balance. Your nighttime habits shape your morning more than you think. Stress, especially late at night, activates your nervous system. Your body stays alert. Saliva may decrease. Mouth breathing can dry the mouth even faster, sometimes due to nasal blockage, sometimes just habit. And then there is caffeine, late coffee, late tea. Caffeine may contribute to dehydration, and during sleep, that effect becomes more noticeable. These are small things, easy to ignore, but together, they create the conditions for imbalance. Mr. Michael didn't find a miracle solution. He made small changes. He simplified his routine. He focused on consistency, not intensity. He paid attention to dryness. He adjusted his habits. And over time, things changed. Not overnight, but steadily. His grandson came closer again, without hesitation. His wife no longer turned away. And the biggest change was internal. He felt at ease again, relaxed, present. No more hesitation before speaking. Your breath is invisible, but its impact is real. It affects how close people stand, how long conversations last, how comfortable you feel being yourself. If something feels off, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It may simply mean your system needs support, and support doesn't have to be extreme. It can be small, consistent, intentional. If you've ever had that moment, that hesitation, comment 1 below. You're not the only one. And if you want simple, science-based insights that actually make sense, stay with this channel. Your health deserves clarity, not confusion. This content is for educational purposes only. It does not replace medical advice. If symptoms continue, consider speaking with a qualified professional.